Welcome everyone then to the 8th round of the start. Hold on. Okay. So welcome everyone to PRL's 8th round here in Hungary for this short qualifying session, followed by a 35 lap race. Half of a normal distance. We have 18 drivers in the lobby and we're ready to start this qualifying session. So let's see, time it hits the 0. Welcome everyone there in the chat. Here we go then with the short qualifying session, 18 minutes of qualifying to see who will get pole here. Hungary to then proceed with the 50% race. I don't know if I'm joined by anyone today. I may as well check. Oh yeah, I'm not. Okay, so I'll be alone for this stream as well. Hello Vincent in the chat. Yeah, it's race day, so we're waiting for lap marches to load in and start. Then wondering who will get that pole position today. As we've seen, it's been pretty close, and it's still close, still being pretty close during this season, which is quite nice to see. Anyone can basically get that lead in the championship. As we wait for the drivers to go out, I'd say we'll review the lineups for today's Grand Prix. So we have for Alpine, Skiddled and Vizdinho. No, just Skiddled for Alpine. Then Facey Spring and Merola in Red Bull, Yokagai and Big Boy in Ferraris, Warskiller and Marches in Haas, John C and no one else in AlphaTauri, Bonsai who already goes out of the pits, and Vizinho, his teammate in Williams, owner one underdog, and Thornglobe in Aston Martin, a new driver it seems, Fritico's Alarm and Vincent in Alfa Romeo, Boeing Sun and Henny Island in McLaren, Jordi and AEIL Zohan in Mercedes, and no one else to drive in the Hungarian Grand Prix today. Don't know if anyone else will join, but for now that's all the lineups for today's Grand Prix. So we have quite a few drivers on softs and a few ones on mediums, though more on softs than well mediums, it looks like. Someone else also joined. Racing, I see. Racing. Have few issues reading the usernames today. But yeah, I don't know if I can review the standings. Probably not, as I didn't have access to it in the Discord. So well, I'll check either way if I can. Yeah, no, I can't. Never mind, I can, I think. Yeah, I can. Though just the driver's standings, not the constructors. For some reason. So currently in the standings, is it the T1 or T2? T1 standings. Okay then. Yeah. Okay, I don't have access to the T2 standings. No, actually I do. Okay, there we go then. Driver standings only. We have Chris with 192 points leading the championship. followed by Swarskiller with 159. I don't know if they're correct. I assume so. Meanwhile, in Alpine in third with 154 points. Jordi in fourth with 136 points. Merola in fifth. Bonza in sixth. Vincent in seventh. Gigofish in eighth. Giba in ninth. Titan in 10th. Thornglobe in 11th. Big Boy in 12th. T-Rek in 13th. Mr. Plays a Lot in 14th. Yoga Guy in 15th. Marches in 16th. Simon in 17th, who left the league. Bees Zinho in 18th. Kieran in 19th. John C in 20th. Cockroach in 21st. Crazy Siren in 22nd. Toby Jizzle in 23rd. And Dark Flash in 24th. Now, usernames may be wrong once again, but that's what I could find as standings. Again, don't know if they're correct, but we'll take them as correct. We don't have the actual access to the standings. So then, we have Skittle currently lining up in pole position with a 115.921, followed by Bonsai in the Williams one at 116.603, who tries to improve the lap, but he may have messed up. So he gets dropped to third after Zwolskiller set out on a faster lap. 116.414. Goes alarm in fourth with a 116.850. Merola in fifth with a 117.052. Vincent in sixth, 2 places behind his teammate as he validates his next run on a 117.191 as of now. Henneland gets pushed to 8th. As he set a 117.835. Jordi comes in 5th with a 116.982. And John C now sets a 129.792 as he best lap, but he'll have to improve that probably. Looks like Yoka guy is also on a lap, but he probably had to reset it. Next up then, with to start the lap is Big Boy. As AEL Zohan goes 9th fastest with a 117.80904. Quite good it is. Proceeds to go on to sector 2 then as he crashes into the barriers. Goes flying into the sector 1's I'd say sector 1, sector 2 straight. But that could have ended up even more as he damaged his left end plate there. And probably will have to get back into the pits to repair that. 11 minutes left still, so he has pretty much a lot of time left to set a good lap. His teammate currently on a 131.829 in 12th, trying to improve that one. Sveti Spring now improve his lap, but still he's 4 seconds off of John C fastest time with a 129.21.8. As his teammate lets him pass, then sets a pole sector 2, comes through the last few corners and he almost loses it to the penultimate one. Last corner he goes. Slides across the track and sets a 117.535, which puts him in 8th, ahead of Henny and behind Vincent. He's a medium. He's the last driver to separate the soft runners from the medium runners. While Blankson is on a lap, invalid one, so we'll probably have to start a new one. Vizinha behind him on track is about to set his first lap in this session. 10 minutes left. Login back to the, we get back to the stream. So I can check the chat. let's say 116.972 puts him in 5th, ahead of Geordie, and behind Critical Zone mediums as well. So that's quite impressive from Rizzo. Not gonna lie, that's quite impressive. Let me get back to the Twitch chat then. We have the last 4 drivers then on a lap as well. Starting from Boington, who invalidated their lap again. Then Film Globe invalidates the lap as well. So one underdog is the only one who's about to set lap. The first lap. Papa sector 2, that is, comes through sector 3, goes past their teammate there, penultimate corner, and the last one. It's quite easy to lose traction around Hungary. The drivers have to be careful about that. That's 9th fastest then, 117.350 on mediums. Not that bad. Meanwhile, Vincent managed to set a 116.581, pushing himself up to 4th, ahead of his teammate. We go on board with Phone Lab now. What is to be the first lap of this 80-minute qualifying session, which is about to end soon. The timer is about to take the 7-minute marker. Then proceeds to go on to sector 2. So the series of S's quite hard to get right and have a good exit. It's a 55.4, which is apparently the fastest time in sector 2 as of now. But he has Mercedes behind. It's the Mercedes of AIL Zoen probably. Just through the finish line and sets at 170.791, which puts him 2 places behind his teammate in 11th. Now pushed to 12th after AIL Zohan there managed to set a 116.573 and go 4th fastest, pushing both of Romers down 1 place and everyone else behind him, ahead of him 1 place down the order. Not bad, indeed, not bad. The top 3 remained unchanged. So we head on board with Geordie. Crosses the line, gets 2nd fastest. The 2nd fastest time, still no one managed to go below that 116 lap time. Just quite impressive. Skill managed to stick themselves in a pole position, and that's not the first time you see that. So then Geordie with a 116.180 gets that 2nd place. Looks like this qualifying session will be closer than I thought. We head on board with Lam Mortis, who starts the first lap, I guess. Tries to set the first lap. He has Pointon behind as well, I think. Yeah. Oh, speaking of him, Pointon actually retired now. Have no clue how. Oh, he lost the tire there. Lost traction there and damaged his car. Got terminal damage, so he's out of the session with no lap. Marches didn't manage to validate the lap, so he still has to set one. Monson could be safe here and still get that 17th place, not end up last. There's 4 minutes remaining. Marches has still a few laps left. Big boy flop, meanwhile, 1 lap to improve his place in the grid. And to actually set the first one, he hasn't set one up yet. Papa sector 1 then, that is, because it's the drive on sector 2. Sector 2, almost validated, he validated the lap there. It's a nice exit to go through the S's then in sector 2. That's why this sector is popular, I'd say. I don't want to jinx it, but the Mercedes cars are doing quite good, as well as the Mercedes cars and Alfa Romeos. You know, Big Boy managed to set a purple sector 2, which may place him in a nice little spot on the current order. He proceeds to go round the last corner. The IS plate opens. He crosses the line, puts himself in 7th speed in between the 2 Alfa Romeos, sitting on 116.708. The 2 Alfa Romeos going on an out lap. Both of them on an out lap. Oh, Hungarian's retired as well in the pits. So that's both McLarens out of the disqualifying session. Not a good start of the season for the McLarens. 16. They haven't managed to do their best through those first few rounds. Hopefully they will get back on track for the second half of the season. Then it's Fritico starting a new lap. His teammate done so. Lieutenant earlier. Let's see if they'll be able to place themselves in a higher spot than the one they're in currently. Pretty much everyone is on an out lap except a few drivers who remained in the pits and won't be able to set a new lap unless they leave the garage right now. Yes, lap March now going 4th fastest, 116.479, puts himself behind his teammate, pushes Bonsai even further down the grid. Because he using Merola slipstream to go even faster. Merola on an out lap. Vincent doesn't improve his lap. Will Friticos do so? Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Goes below on 116. Mojis retires. And that's 115.972. He has still 1 lap to go before the session ends. What lap that was. Definitely. Would have guessed. He's on an invalid lap. Still has 1 more shot. So it will be Yael Zohan then to complete the session. But he has invalidated the lap. So it's next up then is Yokogai, who also validated the lap. Hold on, this may be closer than ever. We have Jordi then on an invalid lap as well. How many drivers currently set an invalid lap? He goes then. Merola retires, but I think he crashed out. Yeah, he definitely crashed out there. Fritty goes then round the last 2 corners. Skittle is also on a lap, but he's in sector 2. Last corner, Friticos goes. The ice raid opens for the Alfa Romeo driver. He doesn't set up pole position time. Next up, then, is not the Alpine. Oh, that's good. Go quickly on board with them. Vizinho then retires. Skill then invalidates at the last few corners. Unlucky for them. Onto one underdog. Last few drivers to settle up here. Skill pits. One underdog. Looks to be on a good run, but he actually pits. John C then comes around the last corner. Will be the last one to settle up here. And sets a 10th fastest time, 116.772 for them. But that's the end of your qualifying session. Most of the drivers seem mighty in the laps at the last time. Last few corners. Big boy, unfortunately, couldn't improve. But he's still in the top 10. But yeah, that's just starting great for this 35 lap race to take part in a few minutes. What a qualifying session that was. Geordie in third, behind Friticos and Skilled. We've said that the grid in T2 is so close that we can't predict anything. And it will be even closer as we go on with the season. Anyone can take the lead right now, as it stands. Yeah, that's Skilled then taking the pole position for this Hungarian Grand Prix, separating them 500 ahead of Friticos. That's so close. Then we have Geordie in third, Bonsai, Swolskiller, Mochis, ARL Zohan, Vincent Big Boy, John C, Facey Spring, Vizinho, Metrola, One Underdog, Thunglobe, Henyaland, Yokogai, Boings and Boingson in last place with no lap time due to a DNF he had to face early on. On to the race then. I guess the race will be even closer then. We don't know why the weather will be like. I'm not calling for rain. Hopefully it won't, because that will hurt the drivers a lot. So we'll wait for to load in then. Oh yeah, it seems to be dry, though it could change to wet later on. But I don't want to jinx it. Wait for the drivers to select their strategies. Racing Jason has left the lobby. I don't know who he was. Looks like it's even in the grid. It's an even split between the grid, between mediums and softs. Interesting it is. So those are the softs, of course. Those in the top 10 will have to start on softs, as it's the mandatory tire. You have to start on the tire you qualified on. But those outside of the top 10 will be able to start on any tire, but no one seems to be going for softs, all for mediums. It looks like, of course, we have to see what the other things will be like. It looks like some drivers are choosing hards. Looks like some drivers are choosing hard in Mercedes, as you can see from the pit box. Oh yeah, looks like it is split. So waiting for the session to begin then. Yeah, someone going for hards. There is. There's Vizinho going for hards in Williams. Well, definitely, what I would recommend as this strategy is hards are the best tire to go for, but if you can actually make them last a good amount of laps, then they may as well be, I would say, either going for mediums or softs at the start is the ideal. And of course, those who are in the top 10 will have to start on soft, probably do. To stop, looking at the race distance, those mediums may as well do a one stop. We'll see. So Virginia is looking to do one stop then on hards. So probably going for mediums or softs will let you do a 2 stop only. So it looks like we'll be reading up in a few minutes. What's your predictions for the race then? Who do you think will take? Do you think there will be any overtakes for the lead at the first few laps? Do you think School will manage to pull away quickly? Let me know in the chat. Anyone of you has some predictions to share. As we wait for the formation lap to get underway, then we have the top 10, the teams which both have both of their cars in the top 10 are Mercedes, which qualified well in 3rd and 7th, with Jordi in 3rd and Zohan in 7th, the two Haas cars in 5th and 6th, and no one else. So basically, only Mercedes and Haas managed to get both of the cars in the top 10, which is impressive. Looking at the race Mercedes had in the past few races, that's quite good to see from the English team. Well, we have McLaren, both cars outside the top 10, Aston Martin, and Red Bull. So those are the teams which have all got their cars outside of the top 10. Looks like that Racing Jason is racing for Alpine, starting in last, of course, because he couldn't qualifying apparently. But I don't know if he's supposed to drive or not. I guess the sorting it out in the Discord can see the T2 chart, only the main chart, so I can tell you what's going on. So we're starting then with the formation lap. 5-minute wait it was. There we go then, underway with this formation lap. For the drivers to warm up their tires, as this Racing Jason guy is probably having some issues in joining the lobby and connecting to the lobby. So then, it is the formation lap time. It is split between, in the leaderboard, between softs and mediums, except Vizinho, who went on hard. Facing Spring already got disqualified for making contact with someone. But yeah, looks like we'll have some nice predictions to make then for the start, because it may not be obvious, but Skittles in the past few races managed to pull away the others and keep that lead. So we don't know how this will go, but it's Skittles then in leading the race for the start of this Grand Prix, followed by Fritschko's in the Alfa Romeo, Jordi, who actually is in 3rd, so could actually attack those two for the lead. Bonza in the Williams, the two Haas in 5th and 6th could try and do some Red Bull strategy there. Zohan in 7th will have to probably cooperate with his teammate. Vincent in 8th and Big Boy in 9th, John Cena in 10th, Fraser Spring in 11th, Bizzini in 12th, Merrill in 13th, the two Aston Martins in 14th and 15th will have to walk their way up, just like the McLarens, as Going Songa is qualified from the information app. Yurka in 17th will have to get his way back to where he's supposed to be, I guess. And Racing Jason starting all the way from the back, as he couldn't qualify earlier. But that's your starting grid for today's Grand Prix. As we head back to the starting grid then. The actual starting grid on track. The driver's getting ghosted. Wait for the lights to go out as soon as everyone gets in the spot. The last Alpine then covers the 19th spot to go racing around Hungary, the Hungary ring, for 35 laps. Here it is then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relights it is for this Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's like 7, away we go. Skittle gets a great stop, already gets attacked by Fruity Goes on the inside then. A few overtakes happening behind as we head towards turn 1 already. Now from in the Haas battling there, already with the Haas attacking, and the two Mercedes coming up quite well, but there's already a crash, and that's Critico spinning out from the second place. Skittle having a bad start. There may have been contact between the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo there, but the two Mercedes, my god, what they actually managed to do. 1-2 for Mercedes already. That was a good start for Zohan from 7th to 1st already in like 3 corners. That was literally good. I haven't seen anything like that before in T2. The two Rebels 9th and 10th meanwhile, but what's the best start from Friticos there. Hopefully we'll be able to recover from that. He doesn't seem to have damage, so he may be able to recover actually without losing too much time due to a possible pit stop. Skittle probably was involved in that as well, and he's in 8th then. But what a start from the Mercedes. It's the Alpine of Skittle then sending it in on the inside, making him lose even more places. That wasn't an ideal move to do there. He gets dropped to 16th then. Oh, and more crashes then. As Criticus trying to make the move on Thurnglobe, but they end both in a contact. Zohan setting the fastest lap then. As he pulls away from his teammate, Henyan had already pit, probably wing damage for the McLaren driver. Yes, it is wing damage. Wonder what happened between the in the mid pack. Then it is what a start from the Mercedes. I'm not gonna lie. Mr. managed to keep that 3rd place meanwhile, with Big Boy in 4th. Oh, and Swars loses it. Swarskiller loses it. Ends up in the middle of the track, hopefully ghosted. But that's a virtual safety car then in the 2nd lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, that's not the best start for Swarskiller and Racing Jason, who want to retire. Only a virtual safety car though, so you don't lose as much time. Yuga guy already got to 9th place from 17th. Anything can happen now. And that's 2 drivers out already in the first 2 laps. And he's switching to mediums with his pit stop. And John C pits. John C decides to pit, getting an advantage for the visual safety car, as well as Friticos who pits. Friticos pits as well. That's the visual safety car out then, as Mochis gets the drive through for speeding under the delta time, which will have to serve John C on mediums and Friticos on mediums as well. Back onto the front of the pack then. We have team orders and Mercedes probably, with Zohan letting past a possible championship leader. Oh yes, we have another crash then. That Bonza is spinning out in a famous corner for spinning. That is. If you hit the curb there, you spin easily. Yeah, Vizdinian then will probably want to go past their teammate. Yeah. So we have more overtakes ahead with Vincent and Big Boy fighting for that third place. Vincent now getting attacked. Big Boy wanting that third place. Vincent not being so safe now. He kept his third place for those 3 laps, but now he has to face Big Boy as he pits now. He may have damage. Zoan pits as well. Oh well. Didn't expect that at all. 121.888 for Jordi, who beats his teammates fastest lap. Yoga guy now setting a 121.500. This may be a message for Jordi to push, because Yoga guy is in 5th already, looking to attack Jordi as soon as he gets close to him. As you will see, those two may be fighting for a nice place in the standings in the constructors. Skill improving. Yoga guy saved to a 119 point. Let me check. 0.8. Yoga guy being behind, and the AI of Face Spring. The 2 rebels doing actually good. In 3rd and 4th. They seem to have disconnected on phone as well. He didn't have to go for a move. Yoga guy. Big Boy in 2nd, so that's quite nice to see. Some teams are doing really good despite the races they had previously. As the eyes wide opened for Yoga guy. He goes to the inside, tries to fight the AI. This ring staying in AI for that long may have connection issues. One underdog also takes advantage of that and pulls out away from the rebel. Separates the 2 teammates by 2 cars now. He's right behind Yoga guy, so he almost loses it. He needs to go on sector 2 now. Skittle and John C also having a nice battle there. Still having to get back. But he's back on the inside then. Back on the side for the next corner. And he gets the move done easily. Vincent approaching behind. Meanwhile. They both end in the same spots. Marches gets the first 3 seconds for track limits. We have to say, the track limits may ruin some drivers' races. For sure, I'd say. Oh, and that's a loss of traction for Skilled. Almost ending in contact with the cars behind. Skilled still tries to hold on with Vincent, but has to stay away for the moment. As he gets dropped to 13th place. He stops not having the best of time. Devon getting dropped once again to 9th place after the pit stop. Munson and Thunglub having a nice battle. Taking advantage of the switchback then on the inside. They end up on the outside and they actually make contact next corner, sending Thunglub to Brazil literally. And I guess Thunglub won't be happy about that. Boingson literally shut the door there. No one was there. Masuruka guy now catched up to Matt Roller, and he's soon to make his way to Jordi, who will have some tire to walk with, which won't be an easy task. The mediums are starting to get faster than the softs to sink from the current gaps. It looks like this is quite could become a train soon. This could become a train soon. Yeah, it's open then. Martis gets 3 seconds then as he spins out. His track limit warning. Track limit penalties. Onto the inside, then Yokogai goes on to turn 1. He stays ahead. And one underdog takes advantage of that like he did with Phase Spring earlier. And both Rebels have now been overtaken by 2 cars in a row. And next up is Yokogai's teammate, Big Boy. He's trying to do his best to keep up with Jordi, but he's 6 seconds behind at the time being. Skilled Vincent and John C still having that nice battle as Riddick is catching up behind. Phil almost had a lot of traction again. We see possible overtake from behind Son soon. He opens the IS, then this main straight closes up onto Phase Spring, then Zohan pits again, goes up onto the inside, has to stay back to avoid contact, but John C almost managed to make his way to overtake Marches. That's a set for Skilled. What? Well, that was a dangerous send right there. But Skilled actually managed to take that 11th place, and as Vizdinho gets 3 seconds for track limits, and they have to lap Marches then, without an unfortunate spin, now ending up getting lapped by almost everyone. I wouldn't have expected Skilled to send it like that, as he gets 3 seconds now for truck limits. Well, Vincent may not be happy about that, I'll tell you. Because now getting a good exit, but has to stay behind as he's his teammate after all. I may want to get past as he's on fresher tyres. Big Boy now pits, leaving Yokogai the 2nd spot. And that's quite good team tactic there. Big Boy pits for a set of hards. Like if you drivers did, as Riddick now spins by touching the curb, the last curb. Some curbs do that here in Hungary. You have to be careful for that reason. Now Zohan approaches. He's not that close to open the IS, but he's on fresh softs, so he'll catch up quite easily here. However, looks like Boynton is still close to Phase Spring to make that move. He's an AI, but still. Lag. The lag. It's not an easy track to make moves at, I would say. Boynton on having the speed he needs to send a dive. He in turn 1 has to leave space to the AI. Jordi now pits. Could that be an undercut on Yokogai? We'll see. We'll see. But it may as well be, as he pits now and switches to hards. Then Yokogai now takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, followed by one underdog who's about to start catching on him. And then gets 3 seconds then for truck limits. And Boynton then manages to make the move on Phase Spring then for the 4th place, and has to make it on Matt Roller now. This train is still not dismembered. Okay, starts pushing now. That's dropping one underdog behind. Well, that's a spin from a Ferrari. There was a yellow flag. Phase Spring though actually had a spin. He almost gets passed by John C. And the two cars now, Skilled and Vincent. Vincent now manages to go for a move here and get his place back. Well, he got revenge for what happened earlier. Meat Boy is catching up on fresh tires as well. Vincent Skilled decides to pit then on new softs, as well as Fizzy Spring, who slowed down the Vincent and Skilled a bit. Vizinho also pits. And switches to I'm not sure. Meanwhile, Fizzy Spring switches to hards, Vizinho to mediums, as well as Skilled. So Skilled and Vizinho on mediums, Fizzy Spring on hards. Both technically the places from each other in the pits. And then Vincent catching up to John C as the train is now formed by only two cars. The nice camera angle that this is, the helicopter view. Oh, and that's a spin from Third Globe then, who's going slow into the track and will get dropped to 9th place. This medium's probably leaving him, and I don't blame them. The eyes were open once again for Vincent to try and make the move on John C. As Frutico sets the fastest lap in 1:10.284. Vincent now gets 3 seconds for track limits. He's first 3 seconds. Third Globe pits. Switches to hards. Like I think most of the drivers actually switching to hards then. We once only switching to mediums. And they're probably thinking about doing one stop, but Vincent is not leaving John C alone. Boynton has a spin there and gets overtaken by Jordi then. Makes life easier for Jordi to get back to Yugagai. Bonsai now crashes out, and that's a safety car. That's your first safety car. On lap 12 out of 35. Bonsai loses it. Gets passed by his teammate. Loses it on the sector 1, sector 2 straight. And brings out a safety car, which is so helpful for Yukagai and one underdog, who now finally paid for softs, I believe. Or not. No, underdog paid for hards. Same does Yukagai. Jordi, meanwhile, takes the lead. Still gets 3 seconds for track limits. Memola on mediums. Boynton on mediums. Vincent on hards. Actually, Vincent stayed out, I think. Or not. I think he did. But John C then takes the second place. After staying out on 9 lap old mediums. Which goes on new hards as well as Andy. Alright then. This will spice things up. Well, I guess you can. That's why you cannot predict anything, because anything can happen, as I said. Wonder how Bonsai lost it, but that definitely spiced things up now. First safety car of the race. I don't know if there will be more. Probably only 2 for today. Safety car then in the next lap 14, will go back to racing. As in the current grid order as it stands, we have Jordi leading, followed by John C, Yukagai in third, just a car behind from Jordi, and there's a hash in between them, so they may as well let them. Jordi may as well let Mochi's pass to get unlapped, because you can actually do that if you need a safety car and you're lapped. He will let you unlap yourself. I don't know if Jordan is listening, but if he wants to, he may as well let Mochis pass. Yokagai then in third. Jordan may not want to do that to make it harder for Yokagai to get there, but I guess it's their choice. Vincent then in fourth. One Underdog in fifth. Just a place behind where he used to be. Big Boy in sixth. Zohan in seventh. Merrill in eighth. Munson in ninth. Skill in 10th. Flickos in 11th. Vizinho in 12th. Face Spring in 13th. Hennyland in 14th. Thonglobe in 15th. And Mochis in 16th. Probably wants to get past Jordan, get unlapped. I don't know if they're listening to the stream, but yeah. Right, in this lap then. This will be the last few corners well to let them pass. I guess they're not doing that. So that will give you again an even harder challenge then. The safety car is in this lap. This notice should be out in any moment now. There it is. Official confirmation that the safety car is in this lap. So we head back to racing part. Really, we'll have to restart this race. We've seen this scene a few times last season and this season. So yeah, he gets towards the last corner, speeds up a bit to confuse the pack, and now speeds up officially. We wait for the green flag to be deployed. That's a green flag, and we get back to racing then. So we have some overtakes behind the Alpine of Skilled and Boinsong going side by side at turn 1. Boinsong staying ahead for the time being. Actually, staying behind. He actually got overtaken by Skilled, and that's a yellow flag by someone who lost it. That's Vincent losing it. Probably had contact with his teammate, I don't know. Yeah, Face Spring and Animal so close together. Face Spring manages to break in time. Oh, and that's Big Boy then. Big Boy hits the barriers with his free wing. What happened there? Remember, he lost it on the curb. I would assume so. I wasn't looking at what was happening at the front. That could have ended way worse. And Skill looking to make his way through the pack quickly. These are fresh tires. He has Merrill on even fresher tires. Ahead as he collides with him. Beat. The train is swarming now. And it's the top 10. Everyone is close to each other. He goes getting close as well as Skilled, trying to send it down the inside, but Rudigo's actually makes the move on Boingson. And next up is Vizinho on the Williams. Skill will have to stay back. Vizinho, though, managed to make the move now on Boingson. Boingson not having the best of restarts to this safety car. You see the Skills getting a bit nervous, or let's say, wants to get that play, let's say. Oh, and that's a spin then. Another one from Face Spring. One Underdog gets even closer to Yokagai now. Could pull out a move in any time. That's another spin, and that Skill spinning out as well. I don't know if he actually had contact with Motorola. He damaged his right end plate, which is not ideal. Not the best of races for the second half for Skilled. He had a ball position, but had a contact with Criticos, probably. And he now pits, probably for softs or hard. Yokogai then and one underdog now battling for the third place, as well Yokogai not managing to catch up quite easily to John C. Probably due to the lapped car in between John C and Jordy, who's actually managed to keep up with Jordy. Quite impressive, that is. Still now goes onto another set of mediums, and we'll probably have enough time to catch up, as there will probably be another safety car that will come into his hand. Big Boy gets 3 seconds for track limits. Meanwhile, see, due to that spin, he now finds himself in 13th. Face spring spins again. Big Boy had an unfortunate spin, going from the top 10 to out of the top 10. He can recover. There's still some laps remaining, so it's not the end yet. Face spring now retires, crashing himself out. That's a safety car. Is it? No, it isn't. He actually retires on track. I thought he retired due to crashing. But he retires on track, so that's not a safety car for sure. And then, you see a few overtakes. Marola onto Boinson. And from Yokogai onto John C now. But they both stay side by side through this next corner. And John C now lets him go, leaving a gap between one underdog and Yokogai. And then looks to go to the inside, but he has to stay back to avoid contact, as he's not the corner where to go side by side. At Virginia manages to set up opposite to one. Meanwhile, no one else manages to make overtakes for the moment. But one is like that, getting close to John C. Yokogai and Jordy are now 1.4 seconds. Yokogai having fresher tires than Jordy. This could now put the race onto a spicy challenge for Jordy to keep Yokogai behind and get that win instead. As they both have no penalties, so it's all about track position here. Yes, with over for one underdog as he proceeds to overtake John C to get that third place on the outside line, makes the move stake. As Marola also on Boinson manages to make the move on the inside. Oh, and both teammates collide then. That's not what you would like to see in the McLarens. Daniel damages his wing. Well, that was a collision from both McLarens. I saw that clearly. Well, not the ideal thing to happen. Teammates. I have still a train going on. And also penalties to consider. Zohan tires getting quite used now. May want to pit soon to get a puncture or anything. I don't know how long the softs can last around here, don't remember. All with DRS. Zohan slowing a lot down due to no DRS, and they both end side by side. Friticus and Vizinho, and both side by side. Frico is managing to make 2 cars in a row. That was a good move from a driver, getting to 5th place now, as Vizinho gets the 6th place after overtaking Zohan. Zohan will probably have to pit soon, as Hanyan pits now. Or softs to the end, probably. Skills with a 118.689, and Zohan had nowhere to go as Vizinho hits the curb, spins out. That's not a little situation for the Williams. Zohan had nowhere to go, hit him, and probably, I don't know if he got damage due to that. There was some space to go because it's an F1 car. He goes faster than you think, so yeah. He saw he spun and he spins again. Not the best moments there. Boinson and Thungler battling hard here. Criticos and Johnsy now getting a swap of places here. Zoha now pits for mediums. And still, Boinson not knowing what to do. And leaving Big Boy to spin behind as he resets the track. Don't know if that's a penalty or not. That's a reset the track for Big Boy. Not to lose much time, I would say. But still. And speaking of balls, Yokagai managed to catch up to Jordi and get in within a second to him, which means he has DRS onto the next straight, which comes into play. Because now it's a battle between Ferrari and Mercedes. One we'll see in 2022 probably. Vincent on 16 lap hards, still managing to make them not blow up. John C, I was about to say, he's on 17 lap mediums and in out pits. Yoga is still not managing to make that move on Jordi for the lead, but he will soon. He's close to him. Vincent now managing to make the move on Merrill last day, both then side by side through the second corner. Then Merrill stays ahead, switch back from Vincent, but he stays back. John C goes to meet on another set of mediums. He's still not giving up with this overtake. And anyone gets a 118, sets a 118.6, which is the fastest lap time at the moment of the race. Vincent gets 3 seconds as we speak for track limits. The Uruguay may have had a loss of traction. He lost a lot of times there. But now, one underdog is catching up to Yoga Guy, which may get us to see nice frame for the lead. Yes, it opened for Fruticos and Yoga Guy. Fruticos and Yoga Guy, one underdog are quite close. Vincent will not try to send it. But Fruticos spins. Fruticos actually spins, and will probably and he's about to. Mortis tries to get to unlap themselves, but lets them pass again. That's a less challenge for one underdog now. He has to look only ahead of him. Oh, that was almost a rear-end from Vincent. As the train is about to increase, he gets an increase. Marola gets overtaken and gets pushed, gets sent to Brazil and retires from the race. That's a safety car for sure. It is. Oh my! That's why you can't expect things to go well. That is a bad crash right there, and it was all due to that left car blocking the vision for everyone. Listen, not knowing what to do. Well, they're pitting, yeah, they are pitting. Yukagai and Jordi pitting. One underdog stays out and takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Probably a bad move to do there. Yeah, standing up all hard. Some other people stay out. It's a Master Martin 1-2 at the moment, but that could be changed anytime. Oh my god, what happened there? Literally, I wouldn't have expected that to happen. As everyone basically heads into the pits. Now you could basically pit for softs to the end. as Boingson and Frutigoose are doing so. But literally, so Lemortis was blocking the view, and what I saw was Vincent was behind Merrill, if I'm not wrong. Vincent trying to go to overtake Merrill then, and Frutigoose came through at high speed. He's swerved across the track and pushed Merrill to the barriers, then to the shallow rail. Yeah, that's what happened then. Oh my. I tell you, Merrill, I won't be happy about that. Both Red Bulls out. I jinxed it for the Red Bulls. I thought I said they were doing great. Yeah, they were. Well, as we wait for the safety car to go in now, which will be in the next lap probably. Let's see the tires and places. So Aston Martin 1-2 right now. Both on hards, news hards, and will get eaten alive by those on fresher tires. Jordi on fresh mediums, followed by Yokagai in 4th on fresh mediums. John C on 2 lap ball mediums. Zohan in 6th on 3 lap ball mediums. Skilled has stayed out on 7 lap ball mediums in 7th. Vincent in 8th, Big Boy in 9th, both on fresh mediums. Bongson, Frutigoose, Vizinho, who pits now for fresh softs and will probably get overtaken. No, he won't. And then in 13th then, all those drivers, Bongson in 10th, Frutigoose in 11th, Vizinho in 12th, and Henland in 13th, all on softs. And finally, Mortis, who's an AI, in between Thornglobe and Jordi, on 16 lap ball hards, hasn't bit yet. The AI hasn't decided to do so yet. But Jordi now has an even harder challenge to overtake that AI, lap that AI, because Yokagai is right behind him and won't hesitate to overtake him. Now that he's right in behind him. Right in front of him. Jordi's right in front of him now, so he won't hesitate most likely. Safety car then should be in this lap. Vizinho and Henry are catching up onto the pack. I should probably be in this lap. They're literally there. Never mind, it isn't. There's another lap because they haven't catched up to the safety car. They were literally there. They were like what? 1 second behind. Oh, Henry goes back to the pits as well as Vizinho. Boingson also pits. I don't know if they're pitting for mediums. Literally you can go for softs now. Well, it's another set Boingson and a new one for Henry as well for Vizinho. I don't know if why they pit again. Probably it was used softs. Not sure. Vizinho following the McLaren strategy. It looks like the weather is changing to me. It's quite cloudy now. Well, we'll see what will happen. It may rain at the end all of a sudden. Make it harder for drivers. Well, we'll see. One underdog will have to restart this race then, as we wait for the confirmation of the safety car going in, being in his lap. There it is. Safety car is in this lap. Two Aston Martins leading the restart and having to pull away as soon as they can, so others don't get a big advantage. But Jordi will probably be ready with his accelerator. It's about to go back to racing. It's a green flag. We go back to racing then. Jordi already overtakes the AI of Marches. It lines up behind them, not manages to make a move right now. Wide of a train here. Oops, Skiddle actually manages to make move on Zoe, and then for the 6th place, Vincent's banging wheels with Zoe. Skiddle almost losing it there, having a loss of traction. This won't go well for most of the drivers. He is well, it's quite of a train as Boyson then spins and gets collected. Gets collected by his teammate, I think. I'm not sure, but that wasn't much to be what you would expect. Vizinho cuts the grass like Bottas did in Austria. But yeah, because wanted to get the move done onto Big Boy. Let's go back to the front of the pack, as it's quite a huge train right now. It will be a sprint probably. A huge train, that's literally close. Is everyone close to each other? And it's not the IS yet. UKK and Jordi now go both side by side for the 3rd place. Looking to overtake both of the Aston Martins. Zona and Zog already pulling 1 second from his teammate, almost 2. As UKK manages to go on the inside of Jordi. Jordi goes wide, and UKK is to start 3rd place. There's a crash behind. Meanwhile, and that's Big Boy getting slow to turn 1. But as we head back to the front of the pack, and that's 3 wide. Literally tight corner where to go. Zohan kicks in the fight, gets 7th place. Meanwhile, Skiddled right ahead, and a lot of the cars. Vincent trying to go side by side with him at the next corner, but Zohan breaks late and sends him spinning through the corner, pushing himself out of the point zone, even further down the grid. Oh, and John C and Jordi are collided, made contact. John C preparing to make the move onto the inside, slowing down the others who want to make the move fast. Jordi having a bad restart right now. Skiddle trying to send it in and makes the plays on Jordi as well. Jordi now pits in, probably has wing damage to deal with. UKK is so close onto Throne Globe now as DIS gets enabled with his 29th lap over 35, and he's already being chaos at the back of the pack. And it's UKK makes the plays onto Throne Globe for the 2nd place, and now has to face one underdog who was behind him earlier. Now he's in front of him. Now it's a battle for the lead for UKK, who has to make 2 seconds, probably will, as one of the underdog is under 15 lap hard. Will have to do his best to keep him behind, even on old hards. Jordi and Vincent then go both for soft run for a new set of softs. We still a train behind. What? Oh, and Vizinho actually loses it again, and will probably be able to still get in the points actually, but he has a penalty to consider, so he has to get away as soon as he can. He's on softs, and he'll have to wait a bit before he can. He retires on track. Poor race. Literally, I feel bad for him. Could have had at least a point. He could. But yeah. Never give up. Yes, we're open then for Skilled. Try and make the move on John C, but there's a yellow flag. Oh yeah, that's Vizinho who retired. Skilled makes the move on the outside line of John C. Then Azoran joins back as he lost connection earlier. And then we have Aniland catching up on John C, trying to go side by side with him, but he stays back. He goes a bit wide there. May have got a warning due to track limits. I don't know. Doesn't show. It's the last 5 laps then. As Hungarian catches up even more onto one underdog, Aston Martin. Gaps need updating. I can get an overview of it on the map of how close the cars are to each other. Hungarian gets 3 seconds meanwhile for truck limits as we speak. He goes behind, looking to make a move soon. Boynton, he's Hungarian's teammate, looking to make the move on Friticos to get behind his teammate. Then it's Hungarian going on the outside line. Friticos sending it, trying to make the move on Jump C, but he actually loses it. On Jump C and has to stay back. Boynton almost overtaking them as well. Well, that was quite a dangerous send as well. Skittle now makes the move on Throne Globe, looking to make his way to Ryukagai now. Jordi sets at 117.074 as the fastest lap. Ryukagai may replay to that soon. Here he goes then. Taps. Jumps John Siri. As we may have a move soon by Friticos. And we do. On the inside he goes. And gets the move done. The 6th place. Boynton is right next behind. On softs. Literally not easy to challenge soft runners unless you have fresh mediums. The Ryukagai is now under second and one underdog as he looks to make a move soon. As well as Henry Island. I've seen raindrops. I've actually seen raindrops. This may not help the drivers now as it's starting to rain at lap 32 out of 35. It may not be that much of an issue. But if it's heavy rain, it may be a lap 34. Well, this won't help Ryukagai now for the fight for the first place. As those on harder tires, on older tires, will be able to pull away as they'll be able to cool their tires down and get less tire wear. Stress them less. Friticos now manages to make the move on Throne Globe on the inside for the 5th place. Friticos having quite a good recovery here. His next target is Hengyan. The ice predominant for Ryukagai then. He manages to make his way to catch up onto one underdog, go onto the inside at the next corner, switch back. Take advantage one underdog of the switchback on the inside, but Ryukagai shuts the door and keeps the lead for the moment. At lap 33, will that one underdog have what it takes to get it back? Due to slipstream and everything. We'll see. Yeah, everyone are not happy about what happened earlier. In the Twitch chat. Quite long beep. They wonder what it was for. Oh, Boynton almost losing it there. The rain may actually be starting to affect the tires. It's starting to rain quite fast. If it increases, it may as well be into this time. But for 2 laps, I wouldn't recommend that. But if you struggle with that, we may as well want a bit. The drivers are starting to slide across the track. Skittle goes in. Skittle goes in. At lap 33, this may be intense. This may be intense. At the last 2 laps, this feels like Russia. We don't want to talk about it now, but Russia in 2021, the Grand Prix. Inters for Jump C and Skittle. Maybe faster than everyone else now. as they are sliding across the track. It's literally a bad time for the drivers on dry tires. As John C managed to make the move on Thunglove now. And these on all the tires, as I said. Those on all the tires will have literally. It's like driving on Inters. They have more grip. They're more used. Especially hard ones. Jordi now pits for Inters. Hungarian want to do the same as unless he wants to get overtaken soon. Boingson now managed to make the move on Jonesy. Rodriguez is catching up onto one underdog now, and Zohan now retires from the session, but it won't be a safety car. The ice gets enabled. Oh, feel bad for him. Crashed out due to a spin due to the conditions. Rodriguez and one underdog battling still. It's the penultimate lap. Actually, the last lap. It is. As John C goes in for Inters. And one of the dogs spins it. They make contact with Fritkos, and Fritkos has left end plate damage. Oh my god, this is not going well. As those on Inters will be catching up really soon now. As we see, number take from Skilled onto Big Boy now. This is starting to put some pressure onto Yogagai now. So if he does a mistake, it will be over for the Ferrari driver. It will be over for his win. There are penalties to consider as well. As Boingson is trying to make his way to one of the dogs. As Sir Martin, he sends it and makes his way to the third place. The last lap. Last couple of corners for Yogagai as well. Oh my god, this is intense. Skittle already catched up. He makes 3 cars in a row. What was that? That was actually amazing to see. Vincent retires in the pits. And it will be with a few issues. Skittle is literally catching up, but he has a penalty to consider. Skittle is right there. Oh my god. This is so intense. Skittle is right there for the win. But it will be Yogagai with a few tenths. It's Yogagai winning the Hungarian GP in T2. What an end to this Grand Prix. And Skittle then gets second. One underdog in third place with 22 laps all hard. Fritkos in fourth. John C in fifth. Thunglobe in sixth. Henneland in 7th. Big Boy retires at the finish line in 8th. Boingson in 9th. Jordi in 10th. Vincent in 11th. Marches in 12th. Lapped. What a finale to this race. Oh my. That was literally. That can as well be on the level of some of the races we've seen, which were the best ones. This was literally. I think everyone else can agree. Let me know your thoughts or how the final laps of the race were. That's your podium then. Congrats to you for winning. Getting a lot of points on Jordi. Literally. I mean, Skittles making 3 cars in a row though was something. Like, I'll make a clip of it. Literally. Well, he started first, he's finished second, so I guess that can mean as well best performance he's ever had. But Yogagai is your driver of the day in game, then for most places gained, taking the win for this Hungarian Grand Prix, followed by Skilled in second and One Underdog in third. Down the rest of the pack, in the top 10 we have Fruticos, John C, Thornglobe, Henyaland, Big Boy, Benson and Jordi, which gives Mercedes a point in all of this chaos which happened, which unfolded. Then, outside of the top 10, we have Vincent, Mochis, Zohan, Vizdidio, Merola, Baby Spring, Bonsai, and Zorskiller and Racy Jason. And that's it for your Hungarian Grand Prix. We'll have post-race interviews now, as always. So let me invite hello. So we wait for the others to join. Hello, Skilled.
What's going on?
Make sure to include your audio.
Yep.
So we wait for One Underdog as well to join. And if he's gonna join, I'll ping him on the Discord.
Is it?
One Underdog, the Aston Martin driver.
Right.
So we'll start in a few minutes, just seeing if One Underdog can join for an interview. So we'll start in a minute. If he doesn't reply, we'll start with the interview. Oh yeah, he's joining.
Alright.
Alright, here he is. So, Make sure to include your audio. Alright, so we'll start then with those post-race interviews after Hungary. We'll start from one underdog then. So, let's start from the qualifying session then. How do you think that went for you and your teammate?
I had to throw the last lap.
Yeah, indeed. Though, let's start from the qualifying session. We've seen in the qualifying session, you and your teammate didn't manage to do quite well, getting in 15th and 16th, but later on we saw what you managed to do in the race. But what would you say? How did the qualifying go for you?
It went actually pretty good. I had to stick to the medium because I know they last weeks. So.
Alright, and about the race, we've seen what you managed to do in the race for the first and second half of the session, getting behind Yukagai for some laps, and then the drama which unfolded at the last few laps. How did the start go, and how did the first half of the race go?
I just kept the speed was just good. I just stay behind the Ferrari guy. I know he's good. So.
What do you think happened to your teammate?
I don't know where my teammate was, to be honest.
And regarding the second half of the race, from that safety car restart, we saw then you managed to stay behind the Yukagai for quite a lot of time until the rain started to kick in, and you managed to still keep that third place. How do you think you managed to do that on those on those dead hards?
I just took the keeper with the hard to the end. I kind of wish I went in for it, but that's how my teammate got me kind of kept the pack behind, get their pace.
And we also saw Skill managed to make 3 cars in a row and the last few corners at the last lap. What do you think about that?
I have no idea what happened to that one, but all struggling on slicks. Heavy rain, so it didn't really help. They're all fighting through the same thing.
And finally, who would you say is the driver of the day after today's Grand Prix? Who do you think is the driver of the day? Hello? Well, I guess we'll move on then. Move on with Skilled. So, qualifying session. We saw you managed to get that pole position with going below 116. The first driver to go below 116, pretty much. What can you say about that?
That was good. I was able to get that a solid lap in really early, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to improve on it. But luckily, I didn't have to. Went out a couple more times, but definitely had a couple tenths to improve, but just wasn't able to capitalize on it, and we got lucky in the last start.
We also saw you should have had a teammate, a reserve driver, but he wasn't able to join.
Yeah, unfortunately, it ended up only being me this week.
Onto the race then, we saw you had some sort of conflict with Friticos, the first lap, and from then everything went on then. Anything you can say about that?
Yeah, it was a really weird first incident because, if you go look back on it, he sent it really far and really late down that first corner. which in turn, gave me an easy switchback. But when he was kind of trying to get his exit, he was incredibly slow right on the line, and I was trying to get over, but just I couldn't in time because I had a little more speed because he was just abnormally slow coming out of that corner. So it was really hard to get around him.
Then we had a virtual safety car and a safety car through the second half of the race. After that restart, the rain kicked in a few laps later, and you managed to get to an Inters and jump 3 cars on the last lap. How would you say that felt?
Man, it was good because I was really worried. I knew there wasn't too many corners left. I knew if there was just a spot that was wide enough, I'd be able to take them because I know there was just absolutely no speed on this lakes. Luckily, we were coming up to a little bit of a small straight, so I was able to kind of get a really good exit and just go right around. Um, there was a couple times where, in the beginning after I put the slicks on, there was a couple guys that tried to defend me down the first 2 straights, which was definitely weird, but wasn't too much trouble. But yeah, it ended up being a really, really, really good call. So it allowed me at the end. The difference it really made, it put me in the same spot, but at the end it allowed me to really get that gap behind me to be able to keep that second place, given all the penalties. If I had stayed out and there hadn't been rain, I would have had a couple more guys right behind me and one right next to me that would have gotten that position. So getting on those intermediates, being in that ring, basically kept my position, but really made the difference was it got rid of the penalties essentially.
And later on, you managed to get that second place, almost getting Yurkaga in the process.
That was close
Who
one.
would you say is? Yeah, indeed. Last question then. Who would you say is your driver of the day after today's Grand Prix?
I think at the end of the day, it's going to be really tough between me and your local because your local started very, very far back in like 17th, I believe, and ended up winning the race at the same time. We both had kind of that recovery race where I started in first, spun, went all the way to last. So I was actually 30 seconds off of last, so I was very far back. And then through all the incidents and everything, was able to make it up back into second. So. Yeah, I think an argument could be made, but I'm not going to be the guy that votes for himself, so I think your local guy will probably get it.
Alright, we'll move on to our last driver then. The winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, Yurkaga. Congrats for the win, first of all. Let's start then from the qualifying session, as always. How do you think that went for you and Big Boy?
Shocking for me. Didn't even get a lap in. Mediums, it wasn't working. Pretty on the softs and spun it twice and got wings. So it was shocking. From Bob's point of view, he did really well. P9 had damage and he had to pit and he barely got out. So P9 was in, but I was really on the stuff. P17.
Later on at the start of the race, we saw you managed to get quite a good start, as well as your teammates, getting up in the top 5, if I'm not wrong, and you managed to pull out a great strategy, let's say, going from mediums to hards. So, how would you say the first half of the race went?
Yeah, it was great. Up to P. In the first lap, and then was P6 by second lap. Bob was in second by fifth lap or something, and the BSC really helped me or lose any time. Really nothing. So fast bunch together. But yeah, I was really happy that in P6 because from P17 it's like that's a good recovery. And I went and everything well for me.
Yeah. During those, after the safety car restart, we saw you were battling with 2 drivers mainly in the race, Jordi and one underdog, and we later saw rain kicked in. So, how did you manage to get in that first place before rain kicked in?
Um, Jordy got hit by I don't know how lost his wing, but he carried on. It was or anything. I got him and the two people on the hards. Not like easy path, got easier as the race went on, because I had the tire advantage. And once that rain came, it was like so tough to keep the car on the track, and I just saw Skip gaining on me. Even though he had 5 seconds, I knew like even if I spin, he could still win this. So I was like, literally had no throttle through every corner. And it just somehow, but it was so hard. I didn't think I would be able to do it, but I was able to do it.
And what do you think happened to your teammates meanwhile?
But he spun on turn. It's the curve that just kills you when you pick up throttle on it. Spun on that, and then down like 11 or 12. And he recovered quite well to actually get P5 to 5 down to P6. But just went wrong on when he spun. Going well until that moment. But yeah, he did a good race anyways.
Yeah, indeed. And last question then, who would you say is your driver of the day after today's Grand Prix?
Skip, definitely. He was. You could see. I was nearly halfway around the track. Starting it. Water recovery. Safety car. Yeah, helped him, but what a drive by him.
Appreciate it, mate.
Alright then, that's the end of those post-race interviews. Thank you all for taking part in those, and we'll see you next Sunday for the... Looks like it is, yeah, Monza. It's a week break.
See y'all next week.
Right, done. See you then.
Yeah, it's actually 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. Because it's the transfer window. See you. Right then, that's the end of this crazy race, especially at the end. But I think we can say we all enjoyed that. Thank you everyone for watching this stream. It was a good one today. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks, as there's a transfer window in the meantime for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. That will probably go well or go bad. It depends on how he goes in the pack. With that being said, that's the end of this stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to the drivers for taking part in the race. We'll see you all 2 weeks for Monza. We'll also have a transfer window, so we'll see what transfers get done, who goes where. We'll see. It's a mystery for now. Bye, everyone.